On the job, do you ever feel like you can never get all your important work done, that you're constantly racing from one emergency to the next? If that's the case, I understand. Our days have become more and more busy over time. We have new responsibilities, additional duties. Ever notice that things tend to be added a lot, but not necessarily taken away? Today, I'm going to give you some actionable strategies that may give you more of a sense of control over your day and improve your productivity on the job. My name is Ken Okel. I am a professional speaker. I talk to audiences about how you can improve your performance on the job. I know a lot about the topic because I've worked in industries including broadcast news, hurricane relief, and professional ballet. Yeah, I know it's an unusual combination. But in each and every field, I had to perform at a high level every day under pressure. You're trying to get more done at work. But does it ever feel like you can never find the time because things are always happening around you, little distractions and things? A few years ago, there was a survey of about 1,200 professionals, and they were asked, what is the number one thing you want to see in your workplace? And there were some good choices like free food, childcare in the facility, breakfast items, all sorts of stuff. The number one thing, the thing that most people said they wanted to have, being able to focus without interruptions on the job. People just wanted to be able to do the work they've been hired for and complete it relatively stress-free. I understand that. We are busier than ever. We have more that we have to do. So I think we have to get strategic with how we approach these situations. Let's talk about your mindset. I believe that most people want to do good work. They like their job. They want to make a positive contribution. The problem is they start to get busy. They get stressed out. Their performance starts to suffer. Think about how you treat those little things that come onto your plate, those new little responsibilities, or people ask for your help with something. Do you treat every one of those like an urgent request where not fulfilling it will lead to really bad stuff? I understand that from time to time, you need to drop everything and work on a very important project. But sometimes do we treat the less important things as urgent? If this is the case, really try to understand and define at the very beginning, what's the timeline on this? When do you need this back? Because you can drop everything and work on it, but then some of your other things are going to suffer. Now, some people may always say, oh, it's urgent because it's their thing. But ideally, can you find that sweet spot where you're going to get the work done in a timely fashion and you're going to get it to the other person in a timely fashion, but they're not going to get stressed out about it and you're not going to get stressed out about it. It's a different way of looking at things where you're able to push some of those less than urgent things aside just for a little while, maybe a day or two. You can get to them when you're more focused, more ready to go, instead of dropping everything and not maybe getting as much done on your primary things you need to do on your job. Think about those 3 to 5 things that are the most important things you need to do. That's where you need to be putting most of your time. I understand that you may be besieged by other little projects or requests. Really try to think about how quickly do you need to get this done and how thoroughly do you need to get it done? Because if you treat everything like you need to get an A+ on it, maybe a B would have been just as well, and it would have taken a lot less time. So these are mind shifts that I want you to think about. Not everything has to be urgent. Things can be good, not excellent. It can save you a lot of time and just lower that general level of stress. And most importantly, it opens up time for you to focus on your most important things. As I mentioned earlier with that survey, people really like to have the opportunity to focus. I understand in today's world, we got a lot of email, we got a lot of phone calls, we got video conferencing, there's a lot going on. Can you set up some time when you are unavailable? When you are able to focus on those big projects, those things that are really important, the reason you have your job, the reason you were hired? Can you start with maybe even a half hour where you close the door, virtual or otherwise? You're not going to check your email. You're not going to answer the phone. I understand sometimes this may be unavoidable, but see if you can block off some time when you do this thing. This gives you a chance to focus 100% on a task, even if you have to put a sign up on a door, just saying, hey, working on something, can you come back a little later, unless it's an emergency. It sets up a little boundary that can give you some more free time. For some people, it can be as simple as shifting your physical location for a little while. An empty conference room. Nobody's using it. It's quiet. Can you go in there for that 30 minutes, focus on your work? You can even put a sign on your door saying, hey, working on something really important in the conference room. So if someone tries to find you and talk to you about football or something else like that, they'll see the note and say, oh, I better let Ken do his work. You're able to focus. You're still available if something comes up like an emergency or something like that. But you've just unplugged slightly and just for a little while. And maybe in your office, there are certain times when you can do this, maybe the beginning of the day, towards the end of the day, where you kind of know it's not as busy. So I can create some boundaries, put up some barriers, give myself a chance to focus on my most important things. Now let's talk about your schedule. Because are you treating your schedule like a carry-on bag on a discount airline, where you don't want to pay for a checked bag, so you are shoving everything into this carry-on bag? It is bulging at the seams. It's hard to carry. It's hard to put in the overhead bin. Is your schedule like that? Sometimes we become a little addicted to racing from meeting to meeting, and we have no time to catch our breath or do some big picture thinking. Think about if that's really serving you well. You can be busy all day, but not necessarily get a lot done. A solution that works for me at times is to block off time in my day. Maybe it's 30 minutes on my calendar, where I'm not letting someone schedule me for a meeting during that time. I'm going to unplug a little bit. And I know every day I have 30 minutes to spend however I like on my job. That time is protected. There will come times when everyone needs to meet at that time, so you can't do it, but maybe can you shift it to some other time period? I think it's good to block off some of that time, because if something big does come up that you have to suddenly fit into the day, you've got 30 minutes to play with. If you don't have to use it, you're able to invest it in things that you need to get done. Otherwise, it can be very easy for people to look at your calendar and just fill it up with meetings all day. You're racing around, you're busy, but you're not really getting much done. Here's the bonus tip. Maybe take a week. Really track how much time you're spending on certain things. What do you do throughout the day? Review that later on. See if it was a typical week and look at it and say, okay, that's where I spent too much time on something that wasn't that important. Here's where I got up against a deadline and was really stressed out. How could I fix that situation? Think of it like a coach looking at game film after the game and evaluating what went well and what didn't and what could be changed. We sometimes fall into patterns where we feel that the way things are is the way they always have to be. That's not the case. I hope these suggestions will empower you as you try to get more done at work. It can be challenging, but I think there are ways to become more productive and less stressed out at work. So let me know if any of these tips work, and if you have some of your own, let me know about those. Want to find out more about me? My name is Ken Okel. Head over to my website, just like my name, kenokel.com. If you want to reach out to me with an email, it's tvguy@kenokel.com. Now, what's the deal with the email, you're thinking? When I worked in TV news, very often you'd be out and about in the public. People would recognize you. They wouldn't know your name though, but they'd want to say hi. So they would just yell out random things like, hey, TV guy. Slightly strange, but something I remember to this day. If you want to connect with me on the social channels, they're all under my name, Ken Okel. On LinkedIn, if you send me a connection request, pick the option where you send a note with that and just put in the note where we encountered one another, even if it's a virtual presentation like this. This way I know kind of where you're coming from. Occasionally on LinkedIn, you encounter those people who really don't care about you much. They just want to give you a bunch of sales pitches. I lose patience with those folks. I'd rather not connect with them. I think you understand where I'm coming from. Hope these lessons have been useful. Good luck to you in the future. Hang in there if you're facing a challenging time. I'm Ken Okel. Take care.